you find it difficult to come up with content ideas for your podcast? Or perhaps you got stuck during the interview with the guest where you just have nothing to ask anymore? Try Poddex today. Poddex is the best all-in-one podcast idea generation tool. You get everything from episode ideas to interesting conversation starters for interviews, engaging discussions for your live stream, and even social media content ideas. With this tool, you don't have to spend weeks trying to come up with content for an episode or unique questions for your guests. Just shuffle the cards and pick one at random, hit the record button, and get started. Now you can make better content, have more fun while you're at it, and get your viral moment. All with Poddex. Head over to poddex.com and use code C4C. What's the word, everybody? What's the word? Mr. LP Clear Visions Podcast. We are at the final day of the challenge, Content Creators of Colors. Man, 28 days of podcasting. I missed some days, but nevertheless, I learned a very, very great lesson with this, and I'll talk about it later. But for now, I'm going to pull from Poddex, being the fact that Poddex is the sponsor of this beautiful challenge that we had did. I pulled a card, and I want to talk about it because I think it relates to everything that I'm feeling right now. All right, listen to the intro, talk to the birds nicely. All right, here we go. What's the word, everybody? It's your man, Mr. Al Pete from the Mighty MPN.
Man, listen.
And you're now tuned in to the Clear Visions Podcast. Get ready to enjoy the show.
Are we clear?
Clear Visions Podcast. We are Bike, BYKE for Duval, back for the world. What's the word? First off, let me say thank you to everybody that listens to the podcast. Greatly appreciate you listening to it. Just thank you so much for that. For the personal, because you could be listening to anything else, but you're here with me for these couple of minutes. So thank you. And shouts out to the C4C committee, the crew, the family, all that great stuff. A good group of people. Please go listen to their podcast. It's c4challenge.com. It's a couple other people that did a challenge with me as well. And they got some good content too, so check it out, c4challenge.com. And also go to Poddex, hit that C4C in the in the junk to get some little coins knocked off. All right, so here we go. So I pulled from Poddex. Is I think it's from the Hustle deck, and the question was, what's the most common reason for people failing or giving up? So this is this is really good because just being whole transparent with y'all. I've been in and out of this thing. I call this phase right here 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Because I mean, the whole like giving up, it's not a failing thing. It's more so like a giving up thing for me, because I just don't have the help that I needed, and I'm like, I feel like I've worked myself to a point where I don't want to overwork, and I feel like I'm overworking at this point. And the overworking part, it just sucks, and it's very draining, it's very tiring. It's very unfortunate that I do a lot for the people around me. I set these things up, and it's funny because I talked to my man D about this today, but I set all these things up and give everybody these opportunities for them to basically shit on me, or not even worry about, not even, think about what somebody else has done. And I'm not asking for any credit. I just want people to move forward. And I don't feel like people are moving forward accordingly when they got things in their face that are willing to help them. And I have other reasons for that, but I won't get too deep into that. But this reason right here that I'm telling y'all, like, why I would give up is it's a common feeling for a lot of people. I'm sure for entrepreneurs, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about established entrepreneurs. I'm not talking about people that's like starting entrepreneurship, or people that's kind of seasoned in it, or even creators, in that matter. And I'm a creator too, no doubt. I am a creator, but at the same time too, I do handle a lot of administrative work. When it comes to I handle everything basically: the creative aspect, the administrative aspect. The more podcasts you listen to me, I'm gonna call it admin work. So it's like admin work, and nobody wants to do those things, and it just frustrates me when I don't have people around me that will want to do that. And so from the entrepreneur person that's been an entrepreneur for like years, this is one of the reasons why they will want to give up, especially when you're trying to give a service to you're trying to provide a service to your community, and the community don't even like want to deal with it, and nobody wants to do the admin side of it, or nobody wants to have a protocol for it. And those things are extremely discouraging. And it's like, why would somebody want to keep going on and on and on and on and on and on, and nobody pays attention to it, or no, or you have that feeling. And it's so many times that people can say, oh man, well, you know, chin up to the top, all the other shit. And it just so many times that can keep going, or somebody can keep saying that, or keep going and keep going and keep going. It's like, it's just so much that you can do with that. So much that you can do with it, and after a while, it just don't affect. It just don't hit no more. It just don't hit, and that's one of the reasons why people give up. Let me see. 1 second. For people failing, oh, I mean, I can explain that all day, but I mean, I'm just speaking from my end on this. I won't even say. I won't even talk about the failing part. I mean, because the failing part is kind of given. You know, that's when like all the hard work comes in, and that's when the dedication comes and the consistency comes, and um, you know, people don't do that. So when they don't do it, then things fail. But I'm talking about the whole giving up part. I think the giving up part from this level of entrepreneurship, that's when that's when the spirit of giving up happens. So yeah, but I worked through it. I mean, like the past 2 weeks have not been good as far as mental in my end. I mean, I've been kind of pushing through it. I mean, I had these thoughts like daily, but I mean, I think the last 2 weeks it's just been like really, really heavy on me. So that's why I call this period of my life 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Because it's just like I have to think like, okay, well, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna like exhaust everything and just take this chance, but or take a bigger chance, or I'm just be like, you know what, this time right here is enough. I don't want to do it no more. So yeah, that's where we at with it, man. That's where we at. That's where we at. That's where we at. That's where we at. So yeah, so I had a good time doing this, man. I learned a lot from it. And I'll be using those exercises as they come. But again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for listening. So, all right. No song today, man. I'm chilling, man. I'm finna cut this mic off and go find something to do. But definitely be great. Be good to yourselves. All that great stuff. Follow me on all the socials. They're all in the notes. And yeah, love y'all to the top. Clear Visions Podcast was produced and engineered by myself, along with the intro and outro music. Subscribe to this podcast that's available on MrAlpete.com, mpn-llc.com, and on all podcast platforms. Thanks for listening, everyone. Building but becoming to the top.